Hello, I'm Brian. Welcome to Cooking with Grease. It's been a long time since I did a video for you guys, and so I decided it's time to say something. I've done a lot of really cool things since we go all the way back to when I was doing the chowders. That was about the last time I did a video, so it's actually been a while. It's been all the way back. Gosh, it's like after Christmas or something when I was doing all that. Well, I would say one of the biggest things going on right now is the crock pot. I've been experimenting with the crock pot, so I want to mention two things that have worked out very, very well. Now, I don't think I will continue, except for a shortcut, because it's a great shortcut to be able to just throw chicken in the crock pot and cook it slow and then pop it on the grill. I probably won't do that a whole lot unless I'm just kind of railing, just doing something quick. Because I want to say that just taking the raw chicken and doing it on the grill, it is more juicy. It doesn't dry it out. However, what did work out very well were the wings. If you go back and look at how I did the wings in the crock pot, that was awesome. And the ribs worked out. I did ribs two times, maybe three times, and they worked out really good. So I'm not going to completely abandon my rib method. I've tried several since I've been doing this page, and I've been rubbing them and poaching them and all kinds of stuff. But definitely will see me use that crock pot again for wings and ribs. Okay, so it's not going to be my exclusive method, but that was a fun experiment. Let me lift this a little bit. Hair's wild as usual. So I hope you guys enjoyed. It was a Memorial Day, and we did the king crab and the lobster and grits. Man, that was a huge splurge. You can't expect that a lot, but one thing good about as a cooking blogger, once you spend that money and once you have those pictures, see, I can use those pictures now forever. I'm still using the pictures from a couple of years ago when I did lobster. Lobster's kind of rare. King crab, that was the first time I've ever done king crab. I wouldn't expect that stuff to pop up very often, but it sure was a treat, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. And the lobster and grits, man, what a cool idea. Another thing I did with seafood was really cool, great new discovery for me was cod cakes. So you go back and see how I did those cod cakes. Very similar to Maryland, those kind of New England style crab cakes. That's how I initially learned how to make crab cakes. My mother taught me how to make the salmon cakes. I do oftentimes I do it with olives and things like that. So I do that a different method. But crab cakes I learned how to do in a very popular seafood restaurant in Richmond, Virginia called Blue Point Seafood. It was on the 6th Street Marketplace, where I was a kitchen manager there for a couple of years. I actually opened that restaurant, if anybody's familiar with it. Another thing's been going on that really worked great were the beans and grits. I've done a couple of them. I've used black beans and I've used chili beans. And I've put shrimp in with it, steak. I've done all kinds of different things, but that combination of the beans and the grits has worked really, really good. Those were delicious meals. So you'll probably see me doing that a lot more, okay? And if you're new to the page, I have dietary restrictions, so there's some things you will never see me do unless I'm cooking for other people, which has happened. We've had parties and stuff like that where I cook. But I live with my parents. If you don't know, I kind of live in a basement. If you're behind me, if you can see, here I'll just show you right here. I'm living in a basement right now. So actually, I have a nice little room. I pay rent. Got my own freezer and fridge and everything, but I share a kitchen. I live with my parents, so when they have a party, I have a party, and oftentimes I cook. But I've done steak and grits, fish and grits. Those plates were really good. If you don't like grits, if you've never had grits, I say try them. But otherwise, think about those plates with rice or pasta. I've just gotten, I've almost developed a whole style of cooking on top of potatoes or cooking on top of bread or cooking on top of grits, right? And I do a lot of things on top of salad and on top of, vegetables or on top of, cabbage. You know, I do a lot of things on top of cabbage. So that, you know, what that's coming from is, here I am, an old cook. I know how to do all this stuff with rice and pasta, but you know, I have to substitute. Okay, so I've come up with a lot of really kind of cool ideas with that. I hope you guys enjoy that, because you know, it's inherently kind of low carb, right? It's inherently more healthy, right? So I think it's a good thing. Okay, so you know, just be aware of that. You know, and you know, when I do things like chicken curry over grits, which some people are like, you know, it's a neat idea, but I don't know, I've never had grits. Well, just remember that I'm substituting grits for rice. You know, so if you want to do it at home with rice, try it. You know. Um, oh, the steak and the ginger butter. I've done some interesting, innovative things with the kind of Asian flavoring. I've been doing a lot of stir fries, for example. I got some new, you know, Food Lion. I shop at Food Lion almost exclusively, and they have a new line of sauces, stir fry sauces, Thai sauce, Thai chili sauce. There was something else too that I've been using, but sweet and sour. So I've been experimenting with those, and those have all turned out really good. It's good sauce. And I've got some new stuff, a really cool new Asian blend that I'm going to be using in the future. I'm going to see how that works out too. But the steak with the ginger butter, now I've done that twice with the ginger butter, and what I do is I go get that Makoto ginger salad dressing. You get it, you know, go in the supermarket where they keep the produce, and oftentimes there'll be a shelf where they have things like boxed lettuce, bag lettuce, and they'll have dressings up there that need to be refrigerated. Well, Makoto ginger dressing is typically there. So look for that stuff. It's liquid gold. I cook with it all the time. It's great not just as a salad dressing, but as a kind of an addition to a sauce. I toss it in with cabbage. When I cook cabbage, it makes really good ginger cabbage. But all I do with the butter is I just melt some butter and garlic, and then I usually put some black pepper in there, and because I just like black pepper, and then I will put in some Makoto ginger dressing and just kind of mix it into a steak sauce, and then pour that over the steak. That's turned out really good, so try that. The grilled vegetable succotash is my second attempt. I've never seen anybody else do that. Is that my invention? I don't know. That's really turned out great. I want to say aesthetically, you know, this beautiful grilled vegetables with the marks and everything. Aesthetically, maybe that looks better, but flavor-wise, in terms of, you know, just trying something new, something innovative, the grilled corn succotash is just delicious. And I did breakfast with it. I did all kinds of stuff with it. We had, you know, the grill season. I call, you know, the spring around here is grill season. By the time it gets this time of year, it's really too hot to go outside. So you notice that I'm not using the grill often. You know, I will go out there here and there, probably to do elements of a plate, but you won't see me do a whole lot of breakfast off the grill and, you know, just big grill meals now, because it's just gotten too hot. So wait until you know, the fall starts rolling around. You'll see me going out on the grill more and more. But I hope you enjoyed grill season. I did a lot more experimentation with that, what I call hobo style cooking, where you cook inside of tinfoil. Right, that's what I always learned, you know, back when I was a Boy Scout and a camper. You know, that's what we called it. And I actually, I don't know if I've told you all this story, but I went up on the Shenandoah National Park and hiked the Appalachian Trail and did the circuit trails and stuff like that, all up through the Shenandoah National Park for about 10 days, all by myself. I had a hike-in campsite. There were no people around me. I'd pass them on the trail now and then, right? But during that whole time, I was experimenting with hobo-style cooking. So if you like to camp, look how I'm doing that. Look how I'm building these meals and elements of meals inside of tinfoil. And, you know, it's really fun at camp because you just, you know, you make up your packet and then you just toss it on the coals and just kind of turn it on the coals. And then you bust it open like a, you know, remember those old Jiffy Pop things? You know, you kind of bust the tinfoil open and then just eat right out of the tinfoil, you know. You got a paper plate or something, just put it over the paper plate, eat right out of the tinfoil, and you got a wonderful meal, you know. And you can do rice like that, all kinds of stuff. One neat thing I did this year was grilled pineapple, and that turned out really great. just by itself, eating it like a snack, you know. So try that. One thing I did as a snack that has been really good, it's probably going to be one of my things I do now and then, is pepper jelly and cream cheese on crackers. Okay, so I took the cream cheese and I just put some of that hot pepper jelly, you know, if you like it, I love it, over on cream cheese and a cracker. Those were really delicious. And the other thing I've played with, if you remember last fall, well, every fall I go up to the mountains with my father, and we go what we call the leaf trip, and we go up down along the Blue Ridge Parkway, all the way up to the Shenandoah. Sometimes driving along the Skyline Drive and everything, and usually taking pictures and stuff like that. Well, when we're up there, when we get around the Peaks of Otter, typically on the way home, we pass through the Peaks of Otter, and right there in the valley. There's a little place called Apple Grove or something of that nature, and that's where we got this jelly. Okay, so if you look back, I actually show you the jelly, and I've even given you a link to that. Okay, so that was delicious. I used it with my fruit toast. I put it in barbecue sauces, moonshine apple, and wow, that was fun. The garden's coming along. I don't know if you can see it out there. Can you see it? No, it's too. Well, you can kind of see it over there past the landing of the deck. Tomato plants are coming along. I'm getting some budding little strawberries. My herbs, looks like I'm only going to have basil and oregano and some sage, which I don't actually cook with sage very often. Maybe I need to learn how to do that. Learn how to do more things with sage, so we might see that. I'm going to have blueberries. That's going to be cool. I understand that once this blueberry bush starts to, become healthy, that I can plant it in the ground and it'll just stay there, so we'll see how that works out in coming years. Okay, well, I'm trying to keep it a little short. This has been 12 minutes. It's probably a little long, longer than I wanted it to be, but I hope you guys are enjoying everything. Thanks for coming to the page. Please share your home cooking and your experiments. Don't worry about what it looks like. Just all we're looking for is the idea. Oftentimes I'll do a really cool idea, but I'll totally mess up the presentation. I'll say, the plate doesn't look very good, but this was a really cool idea that I did here. I'll try to point to you, because oftentimes, when I'm putting it together, I go, I realize, too much this, too little of that, or whatever, or I'll stack it up wrong or whatever, and it won't be very aesthetically pleasing. But on top of that, mess that I just made, somewhere in there might be something very innovative. So keep an eye on that too. All right, not just about the photography; it's about the cooking ideas, right? I almost never do anything the same way. Now you can see I've developed something of a style with my breakfasts. I'm not sure you can call what I do consistent, but I'm going to say the breakfasts have kind of developed into a kind of a style that I do, compared to what I initially started doing for the cooking page. I think it would be very interesting to go back and look at what things I was initially doing, and then see how my cooking has evolved through the years. I mean, so that's also has to do with just the fact that I'm photographing the food, using colorful foods and fruits and stuff like that, trying to create color contrast on the plate and stuff like that, right? So not all just about the cooking, some of it's about the photography, but I think I've definitely developed a style on the breakfast. So I don't know that I can say that much has changed very much. Okay, I'm getting on close to over 14 minutes now, so I'm going to let you guys go. Have a great day. Thanks for coming by. I really appreciate you guys who come by regularly, and I want to see your cooking and your food, and feel free to post your cooking pages and all that on my page. That's perfectly cool with me. I'd like to have more interaction. That I'm like Patton. Give me a headline and I'm good for another 50 miles, right? So hey, do it. See you next time. Keep a smile on your face. It really helps. Have a good day. For Cooking with Grease, I'm Brian. Bye.